Welcome, this is a short movie about a river called the Dommel and the Dommel Valley landscape near Eindhoven, Nuenen and Geldrop. Made for the Atelier of Landscape Architecture and Spatial Planning in 2019. This movie shows the results of 8 weeks of analysis and designing by 5 students of Wageningen University. This is Nahid. She's from Iran and has a background in architecture and landscape architecture. This is Anna. She's from Norway and has a background in landscape architecture. This is Maarten. He's from the Netherlands and has a background in landscape architecture too. This is Jakub. He's from Czechia and has a background in anthropology and spatial planning. And I am Koen, from the Netherlands and have a background in landscape architecture. The Dommel is a 120 km long river, of which 85 km are in the Netherlands. The focus of this project is on roughly 15 km of the Dommel and the most important side arm, the KLEINE Dommel, located in the province of North Brabant, close to the city of Eindhoven. Our commissioner, Staatsbosbeheer, asked us to focus predominantly on the water-related challenges in the Dommel Valley, on drought, which has become an increasing challenge in this region after last year's lack of rain and predictions that this will happen more often in the future. But also floods, caused by extreme precipitation peaks due to climate change, have become increasingly worrying in the urban areas close to the Dommel. And water quality in the Dommel fluctuates a lot because of water that is discharged by the sewage treatment plant in the Dommel and by agricultural runoff in the Dommel Valley. Ecology in the Dommel Valley is fragmented, therefore not connected throughout the valley, and it lacks diversity. Man-made dams, predominantly used to create height difference for the watermills to run, prevent fish to migrate. The watermills in this area now are disused, lack water to run properly, and are hidden together with the watermill landscape. A couple of mills have fish passages in the Dommel already, but those divert water away from the watermills. The energy of the mills is running out. The valley lacks proper connection with the city of Eindhoven, and we identified some barriers preventing people to visit the valley, such as highways and train tracks that run through the valley, and poor infrastructural connections between the adjacent neighborhoods of Eindhoven and the valley. The power lines are very visible on the high pylons in the landscape, and can be seen as a danger to the attractability of the landscape and the valley. Trends suggest that the industrial areas in Eindhoven will expand in the direction of the Dommel, narrowing the valley and the room for the river, wetlands and recreation. Just like the watermills, the Dommel is hidden from visitors. Because it's located very low in the landscape, a view of running water is blocked by trees, bushes and other obstacles, and there are almost no paths along the river. In this map, we summarize all the challenges we identify in this region. First, the areas where drought has become more pressing and the areas that are vulnerable to flooding with peak discharges of the Dommel. Then the barriers we discussed, the watermills in the area, the lack of accessibility, the lack of connectivity, the power lines and power station, and the industrial expansion of Eindhoven. But let's look at a more positive side of the valley. We established some core qualities or strengths in the region as well. The most important quality of the valley is of course that there is running water. There is a functioning river along the city's edges of Geldrop, Eindhoven and all the villages in the valley. Van Gogh's legacy added another strength to the valley, because he lived a couple of years in the area and painted some scenes of the Dommel Valley, such as the Koolse watermill. And this valley has so much more history and cultural values to it. Centuries before Van Gogh painted the mills helped shape the landscape to what it looks like today, not only culturally, but also economically. The current recreational network features routes of different qualities, lengths and themes throughout the valley. The Eindhovense Canal features a waterway connection to the Dommel, as well as an extension for the recreational network featuring walking and cycling ways from and to the city of Eindhoven and Geldrop. The area features important, extensively cultured meadows spread around the Dommel, bringing ecological values and habitats for insects, plants and smaller mammals to the region. There is room for different types of nature and habitats in the Dommel Valley as well, even though those are fragmented throughout the valley. The borders between nature and agricultural areas in the region can create corridors for ecological purposes. The opportunities and strengths of this region are put in a map as well to show the distribution and the base of our design intervention. First, historical elements, the watermills, existing recreational routing, the two-way biking path along the canal, the forested areas in the valley, the header fields, the ecological corridors that are present, and finally the identified cultural landscape. Now, we've established the challenges and also the strengths and opportunities in the region. We identify 4 themes, each subdivided by 2 goal-related concepts we work on as depicted by the icons. The challenges, strengths and opportunities have been discussed, so we started designing and came up with a brand new idea for this region. And it is called the Blue Vein. We developed an idea box with design interventions on different scales for this region, based on the themes we analyzed. After the content of the idea box is presented, we will show 3 solutions on how to apply the idea box spatially in the Dommel Valley. We have created a path network based on themes important in the area. We will discuss those now. The paths make the valley more attractive and help in connecting the cities to the valley. First, what really has to happen is an uninterrupted river path close along the Dommel to really be able to interact with the river and connect the valuable heritage and history of the landscape related to the river. This path can be applied in innovative ways as well. Paths that are floating or turn into stepping stones help visitors interact with the water. Or, when the path is slightly elevated, an overview of the landscape and how the Dommel interacts with it is revealed. Themed routes in the valley can also attract specific visitors, for example a contemplation route for people to relax and contemplate after working in the busy city. Eindhoven has several living labs. To enhance these to the valley, we envision a landscape living lab path to tell the story about the landscape and educate people about the environment. Or a Van Gogh open air gallery route, in spirit of the Van Gogh National Park, which leads along the places where Van Gogh has painted and information is given about his life, educating people about the rich history of this valley. In the same idea, a route through the valley and parts of the towns in relation to the industrial history in the form of big famous companies like Philips, DAF, 3DL or even the Technical University, telling the story of how this region became the smartest region in the world. The power lines, as discussed, are very present in the valley. By dedicating a power line themed path, they can be turned into something beautiful. Today, a negative association with the pylons of the power lines exists too, but we can turn them into some attractions as well. We propose 2 possibilities, either putting the power lines under a dike and making the dike part of a recreational network, or putting header under the power lines, making them part of ecologically enhancing corridors through the landscape. This will enhance the region's identity, help solve the fragmentation, and connect those to the attractive recreational network. We introduce multiple landmarks to improve readability of the valley and to invite visitors to a spectacular landmark. The landmarks have to be placed on key, spectacular locations in the valley, which will come up in the solutions as well. This will change the area's identity, connect the valley and improve attractiveness. Green guiding lanes can also be introduced to help visitors navigate through the landscape and strengthen the lines in the landscape. This makes the area more attractive, solve connectivity challenges and help making the valley's ecology less fragmented. The identified barriers, like the canal, the highway or the train tracks, could be broken by, for example, ecoducts to enhance the ecological and recreational network in the valley without interruptions. It enhances ecological diversity, solve fragmentation and connect recreation as well. On a smaller scale, fish passages should be introduced for fish to pass dams or other obstructions in the river to enhance ecological purposes. However, these passages should be designed innovatively because the current fish passages at the watermills allow for so much water to escape that the watermills don't function effectively anymore. This improves connectivity, diversity and solves ecological fragmentation. A new watermill, with relation to the existing disconnected watermills, can function as the link between the city, visitors and the Valley of Tomorrow. This mill could have a maintenance center for the river or function as an educational center in the valley. This improves the region's identity and makes it more attractive. The new watermill can be in spirit of the Technical University as well. Developed by students in a special course on the university, this watermill can connect Eindhoven back to the valley again. To enhance the living labs of Eindhoven to the valley even more, water playgrounds can function as attractions to the valley and add another connection to the city with educational and recreational purposes. This increases attractiveness and improves the region's identity. In spirit of bringing educational values to the valley, succession forests can enhance ecology as well as educating visitors on different states and biotopes in the development of forests. This enhances ecological diversity and improves the attractiveness. To bring visitors from Eindhoven to the Dommel, a boat can be introduced on the canal to pick people up from Eindhoven or Geldrop and bringing them to the Dommel. This boat can solve connectivity challenges of this region. To meet more water-related goals, pond systems in the Dommel or in new sidearms can accommodate water and store it while enhancing ecological values and even recreational values when open for public. By intelligent design, these ponds can clean water as well, therefore improving water quality. The ponds increase the water quantity in the system, improve ecological diversity, and it enhances the attractiveness. For a more dramatic water-retaining intervention, a big sidearm could be developed in an area that shows, by analysis, that there was a sidearm of the Dommel in the past. The town of Nederwetten will be diked, and the low area around it will function as water-retaining wetlands with ponds and a connected new sidearm to the Dommel. This increases the attractiveness, can increase the connectivity, and enhances ecological diversity as well as solving fragmentation. The dike around Nederwetten would be needed to prevent the town from flooding in times of high water discharge with the new sidearm, but also functions as a landmark in the recreational network and gives nice overviews of the wetlands and the improved Dommel Valley. This will enhance the area's connectivity, improves attractiveness, and gives a different identity to the town as well as the surrounding area. This concludes our idea box. So now we present 3 solutions of the possible ways to apply the idea box spatially. This first solution is a moderate, fixing the problems type of solution with emphasis on very feasible solutions which can be applied in a relative short term. It features important recreational connections like a path along the river, more room for water in the valley, and a more prominent place for water mills in the area. The second solution shows more elaborate interventions, even more room for water, wetlands, ponds, and for water mills, and it features big ecological corridors. The base of these interventions still behold the idea brought in the previous solutions map, like the path along the Dommel, but now elaborated with a landmark and a boat over the canal and even more. The last map we present is the most progressive version with a lot more impact, where a whole new sidearm of the Dommel is proposed. The village of Nederwetten is diked, all new thematic routes are proposed with their own identity, and a lot more room for water and recreation in the valley is realized. These interventions are way more long-term and can be considered visions on how to think about the far future for this valley. These 3 solutions show possible ways to apply the idea box in the focus area we took, but are developed for the whole Dommel Valley, of course. Therefore, the idea box can be applied outside of the focus area as well in the rest of the Dommel Valley with the same kind of challenges and strengths. This project provides an idea box that reinvents the blue vein towards the transition of the KLEINE Dommel Valley, that strengthens existing qualities, adds new layers of experiences, and makes the valley more climate resilient.